Hello, it's Professor Stieg, working on our Audrey 2 project. Right now we're modeling. We're going to make something that looks like this. Of course, it's reflected on either side, or it's reflected from the left to the right, and we set that up in the prior video. But in this one, we're going to create the modifications that need it to give it all those features that make it look like we'd expect. Face mode, right click. Select the top half of the head. Edit mesh allows you to go to the detach option and execute that. That allows you to separate the faces away from one another, but they're still the same object. See? Still the same object. So going back by Control Zing, I'm going to change the pivot by hitting D, then hold down the V while I middle mouse drag and click it to a vertex in the back here. Hit E to rotate the top half up. You want to rotate it enough so that you can model the inside of the head and get to it without too much trouble. Face, D, V, middle mouse drag. Snap to the back, hit E, and roll it open there. That looks very, very, very functional here. So we're going to append some polygons through here so that the head has the two main masses that act like two jaws but have this skin between. So to achieve that, we're going to go to edge mode. Append is under mesh tools, append to polygon. That allows us to click on the border edges. These are the very ends of the objects. You click on the first edge and you'll see these like paper airplane indicators show up here. So click on the next one. When it's pink, that means it's working, and if it looks lined up, then say yes by enter, hitting enter. To get back to that tool, hit Y, click one to the next. Be sure to make sure it's doing what you'd expect and hit enter. Now the reflection should be updating what's happening over here. Modeling toolkit, once again, multi-cut, will allow us to slice this through the middle here. Carefully hover over the center and execute that. Okay. Hit enter to complete. Now let's go and take this whole thing by going into select object, right clicking. We're going to select all the faces here. Shift, control, click, drag gets everything. Or there's a new feature that's tab. You just start dragging over the faces and you can select them that way. See? So now that the head is all selected, let's go and extrude by going edit mesh, extrude. You may ask why aren't you going over here? Because we're setting the defaults right now to divisions of 1. Edit, reset, extrude. There we can either drag on the local translate Z option in that little dialog, or pull on this manipulator that's pointing out along the face normals. It's starting to pull apart. Looks like a yo-yo. Don't despair. That's what we want. We will get rid of the interconnecting faces by clicking on this upside down lollipop, pulling it apart a little bit, not too much, and then in face mode, hit tab and glide along all of those inner faces so that we can delete them, because we don't need those in between, because then the two halves won't join very well. Delete. Now let's make sure we have them all. Looks like we have some that still need to be addressed here. Just be sure you have them all. Now we can go into edge mode, right click, edge, click, shift, double click. We're trying to get the entire edge loop selected. a little more challenging sometimes than others, but no problem. Hit R to go to scale mode, top view instead. Now we can hit D, that allows us to move the center pivot of these selected components, the edge components. So now when we hit scale R, we can scale it and it pulls them together towards the pivot. Now we have an entire head that has some nice open mouth feature that allows us to get inside and continue on in the next video with more refinements. This is Professor Steeg signing off. Take care.